In this video, we will understand what qualitative and quantitative research means and learn when to use qualitative and quantitative research. I'll also give you real-world examples and scenarios where you can learn which research technique to apply under what conditions. We will compare them based on how the data is collected for these research methods, what's the research approach, the kind of research samples, and the role of the researcher. You will then get an idea of how to analyze the data using these methods. Lastly, you will get to know the final report of qualitative research and quantitative research. With that, let's get started. So what really is qualitative and quantitative research? When you are conducting any kind of research, be it customer or market research, you always try to gain a deeper insight and understanding of something. The next step of a market research study is to decide on methods and data collection techniques. All collection methods are either qualitative or quantitative. But what's the difference? Qualitative research methods provide answers to how or why. These methods are ideal when there is no fixed set of questions, but when a discussion is more effective to explore issues. It is a method of inquiry that helps you understand human behavior to find the way people think and feel. Qualitative research discussions are based on the correspondent's opinions and feelings. The time expenditure is lighter on the planning phase and heavier during the analysis phase. On the other hand, quantitative research focuses more on the ability to compute numbers and perform statistical analysis. Quantitative research helps you generate numerical data and hard facts by using statistical, logical, and mathematical techniques. In this method, the time expenditure is heavier on the planning phase and lighter on the analysis phase. Now let's see when you can use these research methods. Qualitative research is used if you want to understand something such as concepts, ideas, thoughts, or experiences. Let's take the example of a bookstore owner who is looking for ways to improve their sales and customer outreach. An online community of readers who were the loyal customers of the bookstore were interviewed and related questions were asked, and the questions were answered by them. At the end of the interview, it was realized that most of the books in the store were suitable for students and there were not enough options for children or teenagers. By conducting this qualitative research, the bookstore owner realized what the shortcomings were and what were the feelings of the readers. Through this research, the bookstore owner can now keep books for different age groups and can improve his sales and customer outreach. On the other hand, quantitative research is used if you want to confirm or test something. It could be a theory or hypothesis. Let's take an example of an organization who would like to conduct a customer satisfaction survey or CSAT. For that, a customer satisfaction survey template can be used. Through this survey, an organization can collect quantitative data and metrics on the goodwill of the brand or organization in the mind of the customer based on multiple parameters such as product quality, pricing, customer experience, etc. This data can be collected by asking a Net Promoter Score, that is NPS question, or a matrix table questions and others. This will provide data in the form of numbers that can be analyzed and worked upon using various analytics tools. Next, talking about the data collection process. Data for qualitative research is collected by interviewing people, discussing with focus groups, building case studies, or ethnography. The main idea is to understand and interpret social interactions. Qualitative research discussions are determined by the respondents' opinions and feelings. Largely, qualitative research is done face-to-face, most commonly in focus groups of 6 to 8 respondents. You can ask open-ended questions verbally to respondents or discuss among a group of people about a topic to gather opinions that can be used for further research. Ethnography is a type of qualitative research that involves immersing yourself in a particular community or organization to observe their behavior and interactions up close. The data for quantitative research can be collected from different surveys, experiments, observations, and content analysis. Surveys typically contain a list of close or multiple choice questions that are distributed to a sample. With online survey tools becoming more available with advanced features these days, more researchers are adopting web-based survey collection for quantitative research. An experiment is a type of research method in which you can manipulate one or more independent variables and measure their effect on one or more dependent variables. You can also collect data for quantitative research using content analysis. Content analysis allows you to systematically record the presence of certain words or themes in a set of texts to analyze communication patterns. Now, talking about the research approach, quantitative research is holistic in nature and it allows a subjective approach as the researcher is intimately involved. The practice of qualitative research is reflexive and process driven. Qualitative research generates both exploratory and highly descriptive knowledge. It de-emphasizes the casual models and explanations that have historically dominated the research process. While quantitative research is particularistic and it follows an objective approach as the researcher is not involved, it also attempts to precise the observations and analysis on the topic to answer the inquiry. Now, coming to the research samples for both qualitative and quantitative research methods. In qualitative research, a small sample size is selected to get a thorough understanding of the target concept. It is also called as purposive sampling. You can also call it as judgmental or subjective sampling as well. This is a form of non-probability sampling in which researchers rely on their own judgment when choosing members of the population to participate in their study. While quantitative research depends on random sampling, where a huge representative sample is selected in order to induce the outcomes of the entire population. Here each sample has an equal probability of being chosen. A sample chosen randomly is meant to be unbiased representation of the total population. Moving ahead, we will look at the role of researcher for both qualitative and quantitative research methods. In qualitative research, the researcher and their biases may be known to the participants in the study, and the participant characteristics may be known to the researcher as well. But in quantitative research, the researcher and their biases are not known to the participants in the study, and the participant characteristics are deliberately hidden from the researcher. Up next, we have scientific method in which the researches are carried out. Qualitative research is exploratory and follows a bottom-up approach as the researcher generates a new hypothesis and theory from the data collected. It is used to gain an understanding of the underlying reasons, opinions, and motivations. It also provides insights into the problem or helps to develop ideas or hypotheses for potential quantitative research. Quantitative research is conclusive and follows a top-down approach as the researcher tests the hypothesis and theory with the help of data. It is applied to generate findings that are particularly useful in reaching conclusions or decision making. The findings of conclusive studies usually have specific uses. Conclusive research design provides a way to verify and quantify findings of exploratory studies. Now, let's talk about the approaches for analyzing the data in qualitative and quantitative research. So the methods and techniques used for qualitative research are qualitative content analysis, thematic analysis, and discourse analysis. Content analysis is a research method used to identify patterns in recorded communication. To conduct content analysis, you systematically collect data from a set of texts which can be written, oral, or visual, such as books, newspapers, magazines, speeches, interviews, web content, and social media posts. Thematic analysis closely examines the data to identify main themes and patterns, while discourse analysis is a research method for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context. It aims to understand how language is used in real-life situations. But data analysis for quantitative research is carried out using tools like IBM SPSS, R, Microsoft Excel, and others. Simple math or more advanced statistical analysis is used to discover hidden trends and unseen patterns in the data. You can find out the average scores, the number of times a particular answer was given, the correlation or causation between two or more variables, and also confirm the reliability and validity of the results. And finally, talking about the final report. The final report of qualitative research has a native report with contextual description and direct quotations from research participants, while the final report of quantitative research has statistical findings with